What tribe are you, Gus?
Tribe? And I ain't from no tribe.
You're a black fella, aren't you?
My buddy Nick Adams in the studio with me. Of course, he's from Australia. I had to play my favorite Crocodile Dundee bite. So, you don't carry a knife, do you?
Call that a knife? This is a knife.
Thank you. Thank you for playing along with me. I appreciate that. I was just talking to Nick, and I want you, if you just joined us, if you've got a question you want to ask him, 314-969-9797. He brings such a refreshing attitude with him as somebody who grew up outside of the U.S., who recognizes the opportunities. You know, I've said this many times, Nick. I've known people who were Iranian immigrants and Russian immigrants specifically who moved to this country under very different circumstances. One, after the Shah was deposed in Iran, he happened to be here on a training exercise and he just stayed. And he became a U.S. citizen, and he's now become, I worked with him in the television industry, became one of the most decorated, award-winning photographers in the state of Ohio as a news photographer. You know, the other one was a Russian immigrant who came here through Israel. Didn't speak a word of English, had $100 with him when he landed here with his wife and child, and he busted his tail, and he got a job as a photographer down at Channel 4, and he worked there for 30 years, and he retired, and he's got a retirement now, and he's traveling the world. They came here with nothing and realized the American dream. And yet so many people in this country stand around with their hands out waiting for somebody to take care of them. And it's a culture that we've encouraged, unfortunately, through our politicians, most of them liberal, the last 70 or 80 or 100 years. America hasn't always had that attitude.
No, in fact, America was, I think, founded precisely on the opposite premise. Right. I mean, the whole reason why we have never seen a country as successful or dominate in the four spheres that are said to make a nation exceptional: culture, military, the economy, and science. The reason why no other country in the history of the world has ever come even close to the level of dominance that the United States has exuded for the last several decades is because the founders of the United States, the most prescient men to have ever walked this earth, they knew that the way to unleash human capital, the way to unleash human ingenuity and creativity, to let the human spirit flourish, was to make sure that people were as unencumbered as possible by the need for government approvals, red tape, and the like. And yet now, America is sliding toward this European idea of government dependency and secularism and the mediocrity that we were talking about before the break. And it's just tragic to see the American dream being supplanted with the European nightmare, if you like.
Well, and one reason it's a nightmare is that the European Union, effectively all of these countries, and I think it's what Brexit was all about, surrendered their sovereignty.
Yeah, they have.
And lost their identity in some respects, right?
They don't believe in borders. They don't believe in their country. There's no patriotism. They think that everything is just one big happy family. And the people that are benefiting from that are the Islamists, who are coming in over there by stealth, that for decades now have been coming to our countries, coming to first world countries, and thumbing their nose at the rest of their new adopted homes, saying that we're not going to assimilate, we're not going to speak English, we're going to practice Sharia law, you can all go to hell. And they basically set up their own lives and their own patch of soil there, and they become no-go zone. I mean, Australia, we've got no-go zones. France, there's no-go zones in major cities. And that's going to come to the United States too.
Sure it is.
And I think it would have definitely come had Hillary Clinton been elected on the 8th of November.
Well, thank goodness that didn't
Thank
happen.
God.
And we talked about it a lot here, about what's going on in France and some of these other countries. Very quickly, because I have so much that I'd like to talk to you about. You also, when you become a citizen in the U.S. will enjoy Second Amendment rights.
Oh, I've already got those.
What in the hell happened in Australia?
Well, look, I was 11 and a half years old when the government of the day changed the laws. It happened in March of 1996, and it followed a massacre that resulted in 36 people losing their lives, the deadliest in Australian history. And the Australian government seized on the raw emotion of the time, and there were some unique political circumstances. It was actually a Conservative government that took away our guns. But the Conservative government had just been elected after 12 years of democratic rule, and I guess it was a combination of things. It was the first of all, Australia's got a very different political system. It's compulsory voting. So if you don't vote, you get fined $82. And so what that does is that means that you're constantly looking to make sure that no one's got a reason to vote against you. So you want to, it's all about making sure that the other side don't have a big baseball bat to hit you over the head with repeatedly. Mm-hmm. And so I guess it was the Conservative government's way of eliminating guns becoming a political issue. But, you know, in Australia, the whole thinking about guns has got nothing to do with freedom. It's all about public safety. That's the way that Australians view it. They don't view it as a matter of freedom. They view it as a matter of public safety, and that's just a huge difference. Plus, we don't have it, or we don't have it in our constitution, and so now all the criminals have guns, all the good people don't, which is what always happens when the law-abiding confiscated. But look, it just also goes to show you what we were talking about again before the break, Mark, you know, this idea about Australians and this stereotype that has emerged through Crocodile Dundee and others. When this happened and the government said that you've got to hand in your guns, there were no protests on the streets. There was no one marching. Australians went to their local police station and said, here you go, here are my guns.
Wow.
That would never happen here.
Getting back to the most prescient men to ever walk the earth who founded this country.
Yeah.
Who understood that.
Exactly.
Wow. Nick Adams, a fascinating conversation, and I appreciate it. Very quickly, before I move on here to this other point, you've got a book out right now that talks about being a green card immigrant. What's the title?
Called Green Card Warrior, My Quest for Legal Immigration in an Illegal System. It's an explosive tell-all about what I had to endure to come here to the United States. You should pick it up because you will be absolutely amazed at how hard it is to come to America the right way, as opposed to how easy it is to come the wrong way. And I've come to make, not take. I've come to give, not receive. I've come to contribute something to this country. And it's just amazing that I have to spend 4.5 years of my life, $50,000, and other people come across the Rio Grande, get the red carpet, welcome, and then don't want to become American. Have got no idea what it means to be an American. I've come to America because I want to keep America America. They come to America to change the place to where they were leaving.
You came to America for sanctuary, not to be in a sanctuary city, right?
Precisely.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Let me get to a phone call here real quick. Dominic, thanks for holding on.
Yeah, on your guest, Nick, I welcome you with open arms. I think it's awesome. And what really bothers me is an example is that gentleman in that bureaucratic position, he should have not only been reprimanded, he should have been taken from that job. That doesn't happen in our government anymore. That's one of our big problems. Listening to all the things you say is awesome, mainly because I have a brother who's lived in your country, actually was forced to become an Aussie citizen by our government because of our tax system is so horrendous and hounding on our citizens that leave our country, and the average person doesn't know it. Wow. He's done extremely well over there, and I will just say this, because he's done extremely well, I am able, and my family's been able to go over there and enjoy your country and all of the things it has to offer, but I think it's funny when you say they are not a country of exceptionalism, they're mediocrity. And it's a tall poppy syndrome.
Exactly.
I love listening to all the things you say because basically it's the nanny state. And I think, you know, your all the cameras on the roads and et cetera, the way they treat the citizens is horrendous.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that he said, and I laugh at, but it's almost true, and the people that are surrounded by him, that when we're talking, you know, you go down the highway, and he says, you're going to see a sign someday that says, inhale. A little bit further, exhale. You know, that's the control they exert over the citizens. It's incredible.
It is.
Wow. No. Dominic, thank you for the phone call.
Thanks so much, and it's so refreshing to hear your voice of reason. That's what's missing, the voice of reason.
Really appreciate it, Dominic.
Again.
Thank
Enjoy the country to its fullest.
God bless you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Well said. I appreciate him calling in with some insight there. I'm going to mention this because we're about to run out of time. Go to flagusa.org,
yes,
which is the Foundation for Liberty and American Greatness. It's Nick's website. He's the president and founder of it. Of course, you can still see him on Fox News and a lot of other. Are you on any other networks right now?
No, just Fox.
Just Fox. Okay,
yes,
that's fantastic.
But they can have a look. Please go on the website, flagusa.org. It is the only organized fighting force against anti-Americanism in the world. We're all about changing the culture, changing the media narrative by using the tactics of the left back against them. And FLAG is committed to stopping the defamation of the American people, nation and culture. We're a 501c3 non-profit. It's tax write-off season. If you can contribute anything, you can go online, flagusa.org/donate. We would love to have your support so we can continue our mission in schools and getting people to be bursting with pride for the United States, the best country on earth.
Every kid in America needs to hear Nick's message, I'll tell you that. Nick Adams, it's a pleasure. God bless you for everything you do.
Let's do it again.
I appreciate it. Thank you. We're going to take